All right, we're back, and today is, let's see, Friday, March 6th, 11:33 a.m. Market finished already at this point, and yeah, okay, cool. So today I got cooked. I ain't gonna lie, today I got cooked. I took a loss, a $500 loss today. And honestly, I could have avoided it if had I followed my rules. But also on top of that, I'm not gonna say I had a missed trade, but I had an opportunity to maybe take a long, but I ended up not taking it. Yeah, okay, cool. So just a little quick recap here. We had news coming in, so we had this. Honestly, today was a pretty good day for news. We had a lot of news coming in at 8:30, so um we had a very nice setup initially at open. My bias was pretty bearish. For one, we had an SMT at these highs, right? Nasdaq, Nasdaq had taken out the highs here. S&P hadn't, right? And we were very obviously trailing down here. High, low, lower high, lower low, lower high, so on and so forth. And we had obviously sales liquidity here. We want to take out the S&P, and similarly here on Nasdaq too, right? So I was leaning bearish at open, very straightforward. Yeah. So ends up happening is I see no setups present itself for like the first hour at all, but within that first, well, I mean, sorry, not first hour, for the first 30 minutes. Within the first 30 minutes as well, we take out sell side liquidity down here on the S&P, correct? So let me zoom in on the 15-minute real quick, right? And let's go with a replay bar. Let's go to around here, right? So let me zoom in on the 5 minutes, right? So here on the S&P at around 950, right? I think, give or take. Yeah, around 945, 950. The S&P ticks out our sell side liquidity pool. Nasdaq obviously doesn't. Initially, the first 15 minutes entirely, or the first 30 minutes, we have no confirmation for shorts, anything of the sort, right? Whatever, so on and so forth, right? Once we take out sell side liquidity, my bias is not flipped, but my bias is now wonky. It's kind of on loose because we can either reject from that with an SMT in play, or we can actually choose to continue lower, maybe take out this internal swing low, right? So I'm observing to see what it is that we have in play here. So what we have in play up until this point, right, is we have this 1 hour IFEG here on that we had inverse SVGs, 1 hour FEG that we inversed, correct, as a potential source to push us lower. And we did also have an internal 15-minute BPR gap as well. I like to mark out here. Small little 15-minute BPR gap as an additional confluence here for us. And also from this delivery from in 8:30 news, right, that we had initially, all the way down here, right? We were trailing up. So currently at the time, this IFEG right here was holding and this BPR was holding. So I was hoping that we will honestly begin to be bearish. But also on top of that, we had this also 15-minute gap, which we were still respecting. So I was hoping that we would reject away from the zone. But also the lack of strong displacement from the low that got taken kind of also like leaned me to that towards that direction. Anyway, I let this play out right for the next couple minutes here. Yeah, so let this play out a little bit. So eventually, like around 10, I kind of wait around 10 to see what it is that happens here, right? So at around 10, we spike up, right? We begin to push up higher. I'm not leaning bullish just yet, and reason I'm not leaning bullish just yet is because I did like how we broke below this low. So we had a break of structure below this low in a 4 hour, right? The 4 hour candle was also very bearish here. Um, on top of that, we form, in this case, this becomes now not only an IFEG, but becomes a 1 minute BPR right here. I mean, 1 hour BPR right here in play. Right, we have a 1 hour BPR. In this case, this 15-minute is still holding, right? And this is where basically my entry comes in. So for one, I should have taken this entry because there was no confirmation. At the very least, what I should have waited for was a CISD right here, right? I should have waited for a CISD right here in 5 minutes to look for any sort of shorts, right? But the only reason I like a short here is because, once again, we tap into concentrated increment of the 1 hour BPR that we just formed. We are respecting currently equilibrium of the move here, right? From this delivery from this high down here, we respecting the equilibrium. We're lacking like proper displacements I don't really see us like have a strong displacement up, which kind of lean me a little bit more bearish still. And on top of that, I like how this rejection candle right here look really good as well. So at this point, I'm honestly looking at the 1 minute to take a possible entry. My entry essentially comes in here. Basically, what I'm looking for is for a breaker block formation, right? Once again, if we're looking for sells, realistically, the BPR, the 1 hour BPR with equilibrium of the range and the Fibonacci range, and on top of that, what was it? Yeah, this breaker block formation should have ideally led me to push back down, right? So what do we get here, right? So on a 30-second, right, we have this high followed by this low, followed by a higher high, and then we get this nice little break below this zone eventually, right? We have a BOS below this point, and then we have this candle right here, right, as ideally my breaker block, correct? So we let this play out, right? Eventually we get a nice little breaker from right here, right? Oh, wrong one. Right here. We get a nice little breakup structure below this low, forming this breaker block right here, correct? Additionally to that, right, we delivered down super strongly here, inversing um inversing like these 30-second gaps up here, right? Granted, we failed to inverse this 1 minute right here. I'll say that, right? We failed to inverse this 1 minute, but I like not only the breaker block formation, but I also like the delivery down, the pretty strong delivery down that we got here on the 1 minute, right? So then I aim to take an entry at this breaker block right here. So I got this breaker right here. Aim to take an entry at this level right here to the high, delivering down to another confluence I was looking at was these stacked lows down here, like this fairly low resistance liquidity that we got below here. I was hoping that we deliver and take this out one more time before expanding back up if we chose to deliver higher, right? Obviously, for one, we had a lack of, now looking back at it, we had a lack of 5 minute confirmation for shorts. In this case, we obviously do not inverse these 1 minute FEGs here, right? We don't inverse these FEGs, so we kind of respect them actually. And in hindsight, this 30-second was a little choppier than I wanted to see. I guess ideally what I would wanted to see was right, a high, a low, a higher high, and then ideally deliver from that high more accurately, more pristinely, I guess. Um but yeah, we don't get that, right? If anything, maybe we can even argue that this can be a AMD model, right? Because we have accumulation occur here, and because our ultimate true bias is bullish, we get a little 30-second FEG right here, right? And maybe we look for confirmation for shorts here, for longs here, right? So maybe let's go back 30 seconds here. If we had a confirmation here, let's go back these 30-second right here. Boom, right? If this is a true AMD model, maybe this would have panned out, right? 30-second. If we do break above it, we have a little break above that high, correct? Maybe I could have taken an entry here instead at the low and maybe just targeted these highs up here. A little quick 1.5 RR right here. Maybe, maybe not. Let's see what would happen. Maybe if I took that trade here, with 5 contracts, right? Little AMD model presents itself, seems, right? We tap into it and we deliver higher and it would have panned out, right? That would have been my target up here. Had I been looking for longs, maybe. Besides the fact, my entry was actually this, right? I entered here, I got stopped out right here, as you can see, and we never delivered down. So that was my first trade for $500 loss. I could have avoided that, which by not taking by seeing a 5 minute confirmation first, which I never got. With that in mind, right, we just go throughout the day basically, right? That's my first loss. Very obviously, we begin to trail up higher, right? So at this point, I'm just observing, see what it does, right? So boom, 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 boom. Here we have this obvious swing high above us, which is also an intermittent 1 hour high. So we have a 1 hour intermittent high, right? We begin to chill up towards that area. At this point, once again, I am ideal looking for longs at this point because, well, we obviously just expand up higher, but also my confirmation really mostly came from the expansion that we get above this 5 minute gap here. But also we inverse these 15-minute gaps here, right? And we begin to deliver higher. We also left these fairly equal highs above here, so the draw was literally right above us, right? SMT at high time frame SMT of the lows, expansion, 15-minute inversion, and fairly equal highs left right above us. So longs we're going to be at this point, correct? At this point, I'm looking for us to retrace, correct, into this 15-minute gap we leave behind right here, which is also technically a 5-minute BPR gap, which is even more confidence for us, right? I want to see us deliver down to this BPR gap, and I'm at this point I'm looking at the 1 minute for potential entries, right? I also observe, right, at around equilibrium of the expansion move, which was really around here, right? This is the leg that took out sell liquidity on the S&P. So I'm measuring from this low towards this high. Once again, the draw is very obviously above us. I at this point wait. I ideally want to see us tap into maybe consecrating encroachment of the BPR, and I like equilibrium as a overall confluence, additionally to other like FEGs, BPR, so on and so forth. So at this point, I let this run. Right, we'll let this run very nicely. We tap into equilibrium. We tap into this 1 minute FEG right here as well. Or let me actually delete it, my bad. Tap into this 1 minute FEG as well, right? Which we respect. And we also take out this intermittent low down here as well in the 1 minute. From here, if we're ready to deliver higher, honestly, at this point, I don't really want to see us deliver us lower. We could deliver a little lower here to 0.6 to 0.7 of Fibonacci, but we're already at inside the 15-minute BPR. We fill in we tap into another 1 minute gap. We take out a 1 minute intermittent low, and we form an FEG above us, which I look kind of want to see us disrespect, and we have already tapped into equilibrium. So basically, this is looking like an A plus setup for me, right? We then have an FEG above us here, and my entry would have been us disrespecting this gap right here. So right here, technically we do disrespect the gap, but two things I was looking for is for a cleaner gap disrespecting of this gap ideally, and my delivery was obviously going to be up here, right? Also, another thing I low-key gotta learn is about whether I should be taking market order entries, limit order entries, or how to distinguish them or how to go about them. Because last time, yesterday, I took a market order entry, I got cooked, right? And that was just bad as a whole. But in this case, a market order entry would have fit because, right, I saw this inversion, right, and I was looking for an entry, right, after this little disrespect right here. I should maybe look for a better closure above the high, but right, I went with the limit order entry here. In this case, we just expand up higher. We begin to deliver higher, higher, higher. Eventually, our draw gets tapped into above here at around 1104, right? Break even would have been at this little swing high above here, right? But honestly, this was very A plus. Equilibrium, 15-minute BPR, 1 minute FEG, 1 minute intermittent low gets taken out, 5-minute inversion, right? I mean 1 minute inversion down here, and everything which is pointed for longs here to these equal highs above us here. So once again, I probably at the very least would have gone break even on a day had I actually followed my rules, which I did not. And yeah, and honestly, I gotta learn more in terms of taking market order entries, limit order entries, but yeah, so today I ended up losing $500 on a day. So right now I'm at around I think I only have about a little under 2K left to trade with. After that, like I upload the funded account. But yeah, today was a L on my end, and once again, I still haven't learned very well, how to do things. So I gotta lock in on that as well. Figure out an actual model. Figure out an actual entry. Formula, something of some sort. I gotta figure something out because my entries are not that good. I can see, like, I can observe how the market's moving, and it's just kind of frustrating. I can observe how the market's moving, but not be able to capitalize on that movement, right? I'm okay with being wrong. I just I just want to figure out something a little more mechanical, maybe where I can take entries off of. Right, this would have been a beautiful 2.9 9 RR trade had I taken a market order entry. This delivery was insane. This is literally A plus for us, but no entry here. Granted, this was a little choppy. I'm not gonna say that this was a bad trade off rip, but based on the way that I want to see 5 minute confirmation, it was bad. So I already obviously disregarded that. So that loss is my own. Yesterday was a little finicky, but today honestly that was just my bad as a whole, right? So hopefully next week is a little bit better. I'm gonna start back a little bit more, a lot more throughout the weekend, and yeah. that's that for today, and yeah, see what happens next week. Deuces.